Now we are going to work on the basic setting, and in the basic setting we have a series of steps. So we'll do all the steps one by one. So the name of this file is basic setting, and in this basic setting we'll start with the company code. So company code in the SAP terminology, a legal entity is known as company code. Company code is a organization unit, and for this organizational unit we will be following the accounting. So when we are saying that we will be following the accounting, we mean to say that we will be doing the day-to-day transactions, and we will be also creating the reports. And these financial reports we will be like generating for the reporting. So reporting to the senior management, to the government, to the shareholder, to investor, bank, or whosoever is having the vested interest in the company. So for them, we will be creating these reports, and these financial reports are your profit and loss balance sheet reports. So these are maintained at which level? These are maintained at a company code level. So as I just shared with you, this company code is a organizational unit. It is a legal entity. And when we are going to define any kind of object in the SAP, so for each of the object, SAP has given us a standard length. So we need to maintain that object up to that length only. So it is going to be in the real time also. It is not something that we can just see on this practice server. So in the real time also, you will see that you can't maintain that object more than that standard length. So if I talk about the company code, the length of this object is up to the 4 character could be alphanumeric. And how it is to be maintained, for that we will follow this path. It's a part of the development, and for this development we can go to the SPRO. So SPRO, as I just shared with you, it is SAP project reference object, and after that we can go to the IMG. IMG is for your implementation guide. So we can go to the HANA, double click on this, enter our user ID and password. After that, we need to enter in this command box SPRO and click on this IMG button. If you just see the path I have shared with you, so you need to follow the same path. So we need to go to the enterprise structure definition, financial accounting, define company. And then we have two options. Either we need to create the company code by using the copy option, or we need to create the company code from the scratch. So we can go with the second one. We want to create the company code from the scratch. So go to the enterprise structure definition, financial accounting, and we can just click on this option called edit, copy, delete, check company code. In this, we can go for the second option, that we want to create the company code from the scratch. So double click on this. You can just see we have already on this server 185 company codes. If you want to see the information for any of the company code, you can double click on this. System will just show you the information for that company code. The standard data which SAP has given us. So on this server, it is 0001. So we can double click on this 0001, and we can just see how it is. This data is maintained. So how the information is maintained for the company code field, then we have the company name, city, country, currency, language. Likewise, for our project, for our client, for our practice, we need to maintain the data. So we need to go back and click on this new entry button. And here we need to enter the company code. So as I just shared with you, the length is up to the 4 character. So I'm giving here the company code ID here, W66. So make sure that whatever the ID you are giving, it should not already exist in the system. Otherwise, it will give you error message that the same object already exists in the system. So we are not supposed to, or like we are not allowed to create any duplicate object. After that, so this is a random ID I have chosen. You can take any ID. It can be alphanumeric, it can be all numerical, it can be all alphabets. So as per your requirement, you can do it. Here I'm giving the name of the company. So let's take a example for the Amazon. And after that, we need to enter the information for the city, country, currency, language. So let it be city. After that, you can just see for the city, for the country, currency, language. So we have been given these kind of button or these kind of magnifier option. It means that it already has some list. So from the list, we need to select the relevant data. So we don't need to maintain here anything. So we need to only select whatever has been given by SAP in that list. So we can just press F4 key to populate that list. So here we have a list of country. We need to select the relevant country. So here we can go with the country USA, and for that we have been given the code as US. Likewise, if you are working for some other country, so accordingly you can enter the relevant country name. So let it be the country ID. We can have it as US. You can also search it. So click on the search option. Here we can enter USA. So the code we can just see it is coming as US. Double click. After that, you need to also same way enter the currency. So select the currency options. For example, we want to search for the currency USD. So this is the USD currency we have, American dollar, and we can double click on this and we can select here the after this we can select the language. So we have been given a list of 44 languages. So we can select the relevant language as English, and for that we have the code as EN. Now I'm going to save it. Click on the save data. Whenever we are saving any development, so system is going to create a pop-up, and that pop-up that particular trigger has come so that we can save the development under a particular transport request. So that has not yet come. So it is saying that here we have received a option called edit address. We need to enter any information which we can't mention on this screen. So we can maintain that information here. So for example, if you have the long name of your company, you can mention that long name over here. Then if you want to mention the address, complete address, so we can mention here the complete address. Then we can mention here the city name once again, country code. So wherever in the SAP you will see this kind of field, it is coming with the checkbox. So it means this is the mandatory field. You can't keep it as blank. Without this, you will not be able to move forward. So let's have the country code as US. After that, we can just press enter button. So this is the enter button we have. It is saying that the postal code is mandatory. So we need to mention the postal code. So let's have the postal code as 5 digit, a random code. I'm taking here it is, let's say, 22661, and then we can press enter button. So you can just see system has pop up a customizing request. So this is nothing but your transport request. Through this transport request, you will be able to save your object, and after that, you will be able to move that particular development from one client to another client. So that another client could be your quality client or it could be a production client. So if you remember in the PPT, in the introduction, we have understood that SAP has a landscape where we will be given three systems: development, quality, and production. So how we will be able to move the data from one system to another through this transport request. And this transport request is also known as TR. So this transport request is basically it is a kind of a data carrier. So here in our case, we can just see request has come automatically, but we need to get this, we need to determine this request, and for that we need to enter the description. So how we can get this request number automatically? For that we need to enter this short description. So you can just see we have a button or we have a option called create request. We can click on the create request. We need to mention here the this description. So we have also a nomenclature where we just mention the specific information. We mention the module name, then we mention the project ID, then we mention the task ID, then we also mention the employee ID, then what kind of development it is. So that kind of information we maintain under the short description. So let it be the module name, it is the FICO for which we want to do this development, and it is for the project Amazon 12345 or only 1234. Then for any kind of development we will be given a request, and that request number we call it as a change request or service request. So here let it be the change request, and this change request we can mention as 123457, It is CR123456 7. That is the change request we have. After that, what kind of development we are doing here? And this transport request, what kind of development you want to save? So this is the development we have. It is related to the enterprise structure for 6666 because it has a space constraint. So you need to be very specific while giving this short description. After that, we can click on the save option. So if you click on the save option, then your data will be saved under a new request number provided by the system. And if you want to discard this information, you can click on this cancel option. So I don't want to discard it. You can just see presently request number is blank, but once you click on the save option, that request number will be automatically created by the system. So it is ending with 320. So this is a new transport request. We can just see here the description also. It is for our company code 2266. After that, you can click on the continue button. Still, you have the option to discard it. So you want to cancel this data. So we don't want to cancel the data. We want to save it. Click on the green button, tick button. So you will also get a notification your data has been saved or not. So here you can just see the data got saved. So it means now the company code information has been maintained or it has been defined. What next we can do? So now we can move to the second step where we need to define the business area. So again, this business area in the business terminology, we call this business area as a branch. So we know that okay, in the business we have different branches, and these branches are location specific. So we can have the branch northern branch, southern branch, eastern branch. Likewise, we can also have the state that we can, or we can have the region as a branches, or we can also have the product line as a branches. So these branches are known as a business area, and this business area we call it in the SAP terminology. So when we are defining this business area, how it is going to be different from the company code? Actually, company code is a legal entity, whereas business area is not a legal entity. Company code we use for the external reporting, whereas business area we will be using for the internal reporting. So this is as per the client requirement. If they want the reporting to be done business area wise, then we can define the business area. But if they want the reporting to be done business area wise, in that we don't need to create the business area. But here we need to at least understand what is the business area, how it is to be set up in the SAP system. So for that we have the same path. We don't need to go anywhere. The way we have created the company code, in the same path we have been given the option to define the business area. And how to define the business area? For that, again, we need to give a ID first, then we need to give a description. Again, for the ID, SAP has already given us a standard length. And what is the length? Again, it is up to the 4 character could be alphanumeric. Then the description is there. You can mention the description as your location, your city, region. We have the province, so that can also be maintained as a region. That, sorry, can also be maintained as a business area. So how it is to be set up in the system? Let's find out. Come out of the company code and just click on this cancel option. You can just see below the company code, we have the business area. If you want to learn about the business area, you can also refer to the documentation provided by the SAP. So that is the standard information provided by the SAP about the business area. And we can just close it, and we want to create the business area, click on the activity. So you can also like get some information the way we have the business area, or here the other user have set up the business area. So here we have business area like Chicago, California. We have the business area for different business line. So here we have the cities also. So likewise, we can create the business area. So click on the new entry button and let's have it the ID. You can't see the ID for a business area more than 4 character, okay? Because it is standard. You can find out less than 4 character, but not more than that. So click on the new entry button, give the business area ID. So this business area ID I am keeping as same as my company code ID so that we can remember it. And then we can give the name as this is the business area New York for the 2266. Enter, save, and then we can come out of here. So system is asking that this development of business area you want to save in the same transport request or you need a new transport request. If you want to save it in a new transport request, you know that how to create it. Click on the create request. But if you want to keep it in the same transport request, simply you can click on the continue button. So your data got saved under that particular transport request. Now we can go back. Go back. So we are done with the step number 2. Now talk about the step number 3. It is related to the fiscal year variant. So before we understand the fiscal year variant, let's understand the accounting year. Whenever we are maintaining our financial reports, and these financial reports would be some for some specific time, for some specific interval. So normally we maintain this interval as 1 year, and this year we call it as a accounting year. Now again, this accounting year could be calendar year or non-calendar year. It depends on the project we are working. It depends on the client we are working. It depends on the kind of reporting they are looking for. So if it is a calendar year, then our reports will be from January to December. That accounting year will start from January to December. So we'll have 12 months. We'll have 12 months, and the first month is going to be January, and 12th is going to be December. But we have some countries where this calendar year reporting is not acceptable. For example, in India, we do the reporting from April to March. So in that case, the accounting year will be non-calendar. So when we are saying that non-calendar, what does it mean? It means that we are not doing the reporting from January to December. We are doing the reporting. We are doing the reporting. It is from July to June, it may be from April to March, it may be from October to some September. So we will be considering 12 months, but these 12 months are not starting from January and not ending with December. So it could be anything but except the January to December. So that is the meaning of non-calendar year. Okay. So in the calendar year, you will have the normal period as well as in the non-calendar year also, you will have the normal periods, and these are going to be 12 in which you are going to do the posting. So that is your accounting year, which can be calendar and non-calendar year. Now let's understand the fiscal year variant. Fiscal year variant means it is a combination of your normal period plus special period. So normal period, we know that, okay, where we normally do the day-to-day transaction, we report those transactions. Whereas the special period, we also call them adjustment period, and these adjustment period we will be using when we are going to close our books. So once we have done the posting in the 12th period, so we have time, we have also the entries, those are suggested by the auditor, those are suggested by the accounting team, those are suggested by the senior management, by the by the auditor, that okay, these transactions are to be made in the system but not in the normal period. So those adjustments where we can do it, we can post those entries in the adjustment periods. We also call them special periods. Now we know that normally we have 12 normal periods, okay. And if I talk about the adjustment period, how many maximum number of adjustment or special period we can have in the SAP, we can have maximum 4 special periods. We can have maximum 4 adjustment period where we can do the adjustment. So one adjustment period we can take it for 1 quarter. So we have four. So we have 4 quarter in a year. So that is how we can make a use of each of the period, and that is the maximum limit. Now once again, if I just brief it, the fiscal year variant is a combination of your normal period plus special period, and always it is going to be start from whatever the accounting year option or calendar year option you have chosen. If it is from January to December, every year it is going to be start from January to December. If you have chosen April to March, every year it will be from April to March. If it is from October to September or July to June, every year it is going to be October to September or July to June. So that is the meaning of fiscal year variant. Now, SAP has already given us the fiscal year variant IDs. You can just see this K4, this V3. So these are the two character ID which we need to maintain in the system. And SAP has already maintained the standard fiscal year variant ID for us, so that we can just take the we can take the reference and we can create the new one. And also we can create our own without taking the reference. So how we can see them in the system? For this, we have the transaction code OP29. We can run it and we can get a screen where we can see these variant. So you can just see we have our first variant. It is for the K4. So K4 means calendar year, K means calendar. K is for the calendar and V is for the non-calendar. So let me just show you in the system so that you will just get some understanding. So because it is part of your global setting, so we need to come out of the enterprise structure, go to the financial accounting. Under the financial accounting, you have this option called financial accounting global setting. And in this, you need to go to the option called ledger. Under the ledger, you can just see you have the option called fiscal year, open it. And then you can select the first option, maintain fiscal year variant. If you want to know the transaction code for this particular activity, you can go to the menu. In the menu, we have addition information. Again, addition information, display key, IMG. So you can click on this. A column will be added here. You can just see the column has been added with the name addition information. Here you can just see the last four character. These are nothing but the transaction code. So we have OB29 for the maintenance of the fiscal year variant. We have OB37 for assignment of fiscal year variant to the company code. So let's go through the path. So you can just see we have this data. Okay, 141 entries are there. And these are some of them provided by the SAP, some of them created by some other users. So here, if I just show you the fiscal year variant, and I already shared with you the length of this variant object is it is up to the 2-character alphanumeric. So let me first show you the variant. It is starting with the letter K. K is for the calendar year. So you can just observe here we have the FV means fiscal year variant, and it is K0, K1, K2, K3, K4. So here you can see the common thing among all these. So all are the calendar year. So for all each of these variant, we are taking the year as calendar year, accounting year as calendar year, and this calendar year checkbox is ticked. After this, you can just see we have K0. So K0 means what? K0 means here we don't have any special period. So we have only 12 normal period, but we don't have any special period. K1 we have 12 period, 1 special. K2 we have 12 normal, 2 special. K3 we have 12 normal, 3 special. We have K4, 12 normal, 4 special. Now, I don't know that my client is looking for which variant, but this is the option we have in the system, and accordingly, as per their requirement, we can take the reference, we can assign the relevant one. So this is about the calendar year. What if my client is a Indian client and they don't follow this calendar year? In that case, we can search for the standard ID V. V is for the non-calendar year. So in this, we can go for this V3, under which we can maintain the books from April to March. Likewise, we have here the option from October to September, X3, and we can also go down. We have the option July to June. So maybe somebody would have deleted it or it is not there. But these are the options we can create. But in case you need to create these options, so how to create them? So I'll let you know. First, let's understand what are these variant and why we have this calendar year checkbox tick and non-tick. So you can just see it is unticked. And why it is unticked? Because it is non-calendar year. And here we can just see for each of the variant, we have the combination of 12 plus 4. 12 normal, 4 special. So how normal is different from the special? In the normal periods, we are doing the day-to-day transaction. We are recording the day-to-day transaction. We are reporting the day-to-day transaction. Unlike the special where we are maintaining all those transactions which are part of some adjustments, which are part of some year-end closing. So those are not going to be, whatever the transaction we are posting here in the special period, those are not going to be part of your 12 periods, your normal reporting. Okay. So that is what we call it as a fiscal year period, and how to maintain it. And in this, we have some more information to know. What is this? So let's talk about the April to March. April to March. In this April to March, if we go to the left side, we can just see we have the period, we have the period text. We double click on the. In this period, we can just see we have the month. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on and so forth. So these months are your January, February, March, April, May, June. These are the months. So here we can just see we have the month as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 till 12 we have here the months. Okay. So 1 means January, 12 means December. And if we can just see next to this month we have the days. So in a particular month we have these number of days. Then after that we can just see we have the period. So as per the April to March, April is my first period, and that is the reason here you can just see the period is coming as 1. May is going to be my second period. June is going to be my third period. Likewise, December is going to be my ninth period. That will fall in the same year. So in the, for example, we are maintaining the books for a Indian client, and it is from April 2024 to March 2025. So from April 2024 to December 24, if we have any kind of year shift, answer is no. So in that case, we will be using the year shift as 0. Now we have three periods which are coming in the next year 2025, and these are JFM, January, February, and March. So because these are coming in the year 2025, here we will be using the year shift as -1. I'll take now a different example. Let's take example of October to September. Here we have October to September also, this one. So as per the October to September, now the first thing is if we have 2 years, okay, so we have October to December. So these are the in the year 2023. And then from January to September, we have all these months, like 9 months we have in this year, in the 2024. So in which year you will have the more number of periods, so that is going to be your financial year. That is going to be your fiscal year. So because here we are maintaining the books from October to September. So October means October 2023, November 2023, December 2023. Then we have January 2024, February 2024, March, April, May, June. So from January to September, if there is any year shift, answer is no, there is no year shift. So we are maintaining the data for 2024, so there is no year shift. But there are 3 months which are coming in the previous year, and these are October, November, December. So because those are coming in the previous year, we will be using here the year shift as +1. You can just see +1 is coming. +1 is coming. Now let's take one more example. We need to maintain the books from July to June. So July to June means what? July to June means 6 period you have in this year and 6 period you have in next year. Or let's take a other way around. Let's take a other way around. We have 6 period in year 2023. 6 period we have in year 2024. In this case, what I'll do? So I'll take 6 period which are in this year. So I will have the year shift for those 6 month, or for those 6 period as the year shift as 0. Those are coming in the same year 2024. So that I will just mark it as 0. But those 6 period which are we are having in the next year. So for that, I will be using -1. And if those 6 period we have in the last year, in the previous year, we will be using +1. So it is simple. If we are having the months that is coming in the next year, we'll be using -1 year shift. And if we have the some period which are coming in the previous year, we'll be using +1. And all those periods which are coming in the same year, then The year shift is going to be 0. And always this is going to be when you are maintaining the non-calendar year.
Okay.
And always when you are maintaining the non-calendar year, so the best way is whatever SAP has given, and if the client is also looking for the same year, so for example, if they are also following April to March, so best way is you copy the reference one and click on the copy as option and create the new one. So for example, we need to work for the new one and it has the ID. Let it be the ID as 6i. So this is up to the two character. I just mentioned the ID as 6i and system has copied all the data. You can just see the number of dependent entries are 44. So what are all these 44 entries? These are nothing but your period entries. You can just see here. First, it is saying that you save it, then it will show you. So let's save first. Now it will show you all those dependent entries we have in the form of that period. In the period, we have year shift and we have the month, we have days. So that particular data system has copied. So always this is going to be for your non-calendar year. So calendar year is very simple. You can just give your variant ID. That's it. So you don't need to maintain any data under this folder called period or period text. But if you are maintaining it for the non-calendar year, in that case, you need to mention this period text, period option. Okay. Let me just show you for the 6A. You can just see this is how system has copied all the data. Wherever you want to make some changes, you can do those changes. Now I will just come out of here and I'll create one calendar year also for you. Let's create the calendar year. So how to create the calendar fiscal year variant? For that, we need to give the ID description. So let's have the description as this is the calendar year we have, and we'll be using it for the company code, let's say 2266. And here we will, because it is a calendar year, we'll select this checkbox. In this, we will be having the normal period and special period. So how many normal we want to have? Well, how many special we want to have? 4. So this is the maximum limit we can have in the fiscal year variant. So with this, we can save this data and we can come out of here. Now this is your fiscal year variant. Either you would have maintained the new one or you are going to use the standard one provided by the already by the SAP. So whatever the way you are like you will go for, so you will create the new one or you want to use the existing one. So that particular variant you need to assign to your company code. So that is the second step we have, or the next step we have. If you just see the practice sheet, in this practice sheet we have step number 3.2 where we need to assign the company code to the fiscal year variant, and we can use transaction code for this. It is OB37. So if we need to follow the path, we need to go back to the previous screen. You can just see here we have the option called maintain fiscal year variant, and here we have the option assign company code to the fiscal year variant OB37, OB29. Okay, let's go to the assign option. Here we can click on the position button in order to find out our company code. But here you can just see our company code is visible. We don't need to click on the position button. You can just see except like our company code. So this fiscal year variant is assigned for every company code. Let's assign for our company code also. What's our fiscal year variant ID? Let it be 66 calendar year for the company code 2266. Press enter button. So automatically system is going to try the description. You don't need to maintain this manually and then save it. Click on the save data, press enter button, and then we can come out of it. So with this, we have completed the step number 3.2. Now we have the step number 4.1. So this 4.1 step is related to the chart of account. Before we create the chart of account, let's understand what is this chart of account. For this, again, we have one PPT. Let me walk you through this PPT. And I will also make you understand through some information in the Word file I am going to write. But first, let's discuss about this chart of account through this PPT. So first of all, what do you mean by the chart of accounts? Chart of account is an object through which you are going to maintain your accounts. Accounts means in the finance we do the posting, and these posting we do for these kind of posting we use the accounts, and these accounts could be your expense account, income account, balance sheet account. These could be your, I would say, maintenance account, repair account, salary, wages, rent. So do sales account. We have cash received, we have discount. So all these accounts we manage under a single object called chart of accounts. So it is saying that this chart of account, it is a nothing but a list of a GL account used by any of the organization, and it is mandatory. It is compulsory that we should define a chart of account, and it should be also assigned to the company code. So there are basically three types of chart of account we have. One is the operating chart of account. Second is the group chart of account. Third is the country specific chart of account. So let's first discuss the operating chart of account. So this is the operating chart of account in which you are doing the reporting to the head office, to your local office if you want to do the reporting. So for that, you will be maintaining the GLs, and that GL you are going to maintain under the operating chart of account. So this is mandatory and this should be assigned to your company code. Without this, you can't do your day-to-day posting. You can't create your GLs. Then let's take a second type of a chart of account, which is going to be a group chart of account. So group chart of account, from the name it is clear, it is going to do the grouping. So for the group reporting, if I want to consolidate my financial statement for all my company codes, so I will be using the group chart of account, which will have a single financial statement, a single profit and loss and balance sheet for all my legal entities, for all my company code. So that is the use of the group chart of account. But in some client, we may not use this group chart of account. The reason is they are already using some interface which they are using for the group reporting. So this is possible that for your client, they are not using this SAP ERP 100%. They are using some other ERP also. So that may be a Excel, that may be a QuickBooks, that may be Oracle or some other ERP. So they are using that SAP like 60%, 20%, 30%, 40%. So what they are having? So they are having the financial data for their company code in the different database. So they are using an interface through which the data from all these database, all these ERP is getting consolidated. So there is a software called Oracle Hyperion through which we can consolidate the data from different ERPs, and that can be used for the reporting. So this is the reason it is mentioned here that definition of this group chart of account is optional. Then it is saying that the third type of chart of accounts we have, it is the country specific chart of account. So this is required in those countries, in those locations where localization is required. When I'm saying localization, localization means the reporting we need to do as per that particular country. The reporting we need to do as per the language we have in that particular country. So here let's take example of country. We have Mexico, Brazil, Colombia. So for these countries, maybe the way we are maintaining the GL for our other company codes, other country, so that is different. So for such kind of countries where we need more localization, where we need to maintain a different length of the GL, where we need to maintain a different language of the GL in which we are doing the posting. So what we can do apart from the operating chart of account, which is for all your company code, apart from the operating chart of account, we can also create one more chart of account, and that is going to be the country specific chart of account. And what is the use of this country specific chart of account? So it is going to help us to do the local reporting. So for the local legal requirement, we can use this country specific chart of account. Then it is saying that a chart of account assignment can be done to how many company code? It can be 1:1, it can be 1:many. So a chart of account can be assigned to one company code. At the same time, it can be assigned to multiple company codes. Then it is saying that a company code can be assigned to how many chart of account? A company code can be assigned to the operating chart of account as well as your country specific chart of account. Now, as I just shared with you, whenever we are going to define the chart of account, we need to define the length of the GL. So what do you mean the length of the GL? So here we are defining the operating chart of accounts. And in order to define the operating chart of account, the first thing system is going to ask you, what is the length of your GL? Length of your GL in which you are going to do the posting. The maximum length limit provided by the SAP, it is up to the 10 digit. You can create the GL up to the 10 digit. That is the maximum length provided by the SAP. Again, it is same in ECC as well as in SAP S4HANA. Nothing different. And normally in the real time, we maintain in the projects, we maintain the length of the GL up to the 6 digit. We maintain the length up to the 6 digit. It can be 7, it can be 8. It depends on the client or it depends on their requirement. So we normally maintain 6 digit. Now how it is maintained? So we use different kinds of account. We use liability account, asset account, income account. We use expense account. And for these account, we maintain this length of 6 digit. So here, this is the GL number range. In this, what I have done, so because we need to give the 6 digit length, so the first digit I'm going to give it to the liability. Then we have 2 for the asset, 3 for the income, 4 for the expense. So this is a single digit which we have assigned to these accounts. Now we need to maintain we need to maintain 5 more digits. So how we maintain it? So let it be the 0, we can maintain as 50. The GL range is going to be from 100,000 to 1999. If I need to create the asset GL, so it will start from 200,000 to 2999. If I need to create the income GL, these will be starting from 300,000 to 3999. If I will be creating the expense GL, so all my expense GLs are between 400,000 to 499. The common thing about all these number ranges is the length of the GL which we maintain up to the 6 digit. And in this way, we can maintain the number of GL if we keeping the length of the GL as 6 digit. So it can be starting from 100,000 to 9999. So almost 1 million GL we can create 10 lakh GL. We can create if we'll go with the 6 digit length. If we want to go, if we want to have more number of GL, in that case we need to increase the length. It may be 7, it may be 8, it may be 9, but it may not, it is not going to be more than 10. If we maintain 10, let's see how it is going to look like. So this is how it looks like. So we can maintain here 4 more 0 here and 4 more 9, and it is going to be applicable for the rest of the GLs. So in this, the GL is going to be, the GL will look like this number, like 10 digit number, which would be difficult for the user to remember. And that is the reason we prefer, or in the most of the cases, so we see the length of the GL is 6 digit or 7 digit. Okay, so if it is going to be 6 digit, then it is going to be like this. Okay, this is clear.
Yeah.
Now in the practice sheet, we are going to maintain the different set of GLs. And for these different set of GL, we have maintained the account group. You can just see. So these are what? These are the account groups. So we maintain the account group as liability, asset, income, secondary, GL, and secondary accounts or secondary GL, and then cash accounts. So for that, we have maintained the length as again 6 digit, and it is starting from 100,000 to 1999, 200,000 to 2999, 300,000 to 3999, 400,000 to 499, and so on and so forth. So what we need to do? So here we need to maintain the account group, and each of the account group we want to have, so that we need to assign with the chart of account which we have defined. So here it is saying that Under the account group, you can have multiple GLs. You can create multiple GLs. For example, all the liability GLs you are going to create under the group liability. All the asset GL you are going to create under the account group asset. All the income GL you are going to create under the account group income. Now I'm going to create the chart of account, and this we can do with the help of transaction code OB13. We can also follow the path. Here we are doing step number 4.1. So let's go into the system. So we'll follow the path. Let's do the navigation. We need to go to the financial accounting, and this chart of account is going to be part of your general ledger account. So this financial accounting, general ledger accounting, and for this you will get the complete path on your practice sheet. General ledger accounting, master data, GL account, preparation, and here you will see the first option, edit chart of account. On your right side, you can also see the transaction code OB13, OB62 for assignment, OBD4 for the creation of account group in the chart of account, and the last is for the retained earning account. So first, let's create the chart of account list. Click on this, click on the new entry button. So you can just see this is a list of your chart of account already in your system. If you want to see the information for anyone, you double click on this. So you can just see this is how it is maintained. Likewise, we can maintain our new chart of account, new entry. Click on the new entry. So again, for this object, SAP object, so SAP has given us the standard length. It is up to the 4-character goodwill numeric. So let it be the ID as same as the company code ID, which is 2266. And then we can give the description that this is what, this is the this is the chart of accounts we have for the company code 2266. Which kind of chart of account it is? So let's say it is the operating chart of account we have for 2266. Then after that we can click on the, we can just see here it is asking for the language. Okay, so the language we can maintain here English, and as I just shared with you, length of your GL. So the length, if you want to see the maximum length we have in the system, it is up to the 10. You can just see 1 0 to 10. So let it be the length as 6 digit. Enter, save. Save it, enter. Now we can just come back, and now we need to assign this chart of account to the company code. And for this assignment, we can go to the step next in the practice sheet. Let me just see the practice sheet. So we have the step number 4.2. Click on this assignment. Again, you search for your company code. So one thing you will notice, whatever the activities we are doing, so at the end of those activities, what we have done, so we have assigned those objects directly or indirectly to the company code. What is the reason? The reason is at the end of the year, sorry, at the end of the day, we are doing the reporting, we are maintaining all this data, this financial reporting which we are doing. So this we are doing for a legal entity, for a company code. That is the reason all this data we are going to maintain for the company code. So click on position button, search for the company code, and you can just see on your right side, you don't have here the chart of account. So here it is written chart of account, and next field is alt.coa. So ALT means alternative chart of account. Alternative chart of account is nothing but your country specific chart of account. And this is your operating chart of account, which we can maintain as 2266. Enter, save. Now we need to come out of here. We have the next step. Step number 4.3, 4.3, manage the or create the account group. Here you can just see create the account group. So I'm going to copy all these account group, and this I'm going to create under the chart of account which we have maintained as 2266. So go to this option called define account group. In the path, click on the new entry button, and here we can paste the account group. We can mention here the Chart of account ID for each of the account group we have, it is double two double six, double two double six, double two double six, double two double six, and then press enter button. Enter, save, enter. Now we can just come out of here. It is done. Here in the spreadsheet sheet, I have taken the like company code or chart of account double two double eight. So you can just like refer to this double two double six wherever I'm just entering double or I have written double two double eight. So you can consider it double two double six. Now in the step number 4.4, what we need to do? We need to define the retained earning account. So we are having basically two types of account. One is the profit and loss account and second is the balance sheet account. And in the balance sheet account, the we have the current asset, fixed asset, we have liability, current liability, long-term liability. Okay. So these are the balance sheet accounts we have. Now there is a different treatment for the balance sheet account balances vis-a-vis for the profit and loss account balances. So all those assets which we are having, all those loans which we are having, all those fixed deposit we are having in our company code, when we are going to close our books, so if it is going to be zero, answer is no. So those will remain in the books, but whatever is going to be the closing balance of your financial year, so the same balance sheet account, the same is going to be the opening balance in the next year. So for example, we have investment, we have also vehicle. So whatever the balance we are closing in the at the end of the year, so the same is going to be the opening balance in the next year. Okay, that is a treatment we have for the balance sheet account. So for example, we have the fixed deposit and the balance is 1 lakh or 100,000. Now the when you are closing the books, so you will be transferring this balance to the next year. So the balance for the next year is going to be 1 lakh and balance at the end of the year it is going to be zero for your balance sheet account. Now let's
Yes.
understand the treatment for the profit and loss account. So whatever the GLs which we have maintained as a profit and loss account, let's say income, expense. So these account, these GL we maintain as a profit and loss account. So whatever the balances we have in these GL at the end of the year when we are closing the books, so what we will be doing? We'll be transferring all those balances to the retained earning account. So that is the same retained earning account system is asking us to create it right now. Because if we'll not create the retained earning account, we'll not be able to create the GL. And even if we are able to create the GL, we are not like system will not allow us to post the entries. So that is the reason we need to define the retained earning account. And when this is going to be used, this is going to be used in the end of the year. When we are closing our books, so at that point of time, so in the next year, let's say in the year 2025, you are trying to post the accounting entry. So it will not allow you to post the accounting entries until unless you carry out the year-end activities. And when you are going to carry out the year-end activity, so the first thing it will ask you whether you have transferred the balances from your profit and loss to retained earning account. So that is the reason we need to define this retained earning account. So how to define this retained earning account? We have here the option called define retained earning account. Always it is to be maintained at a chart of account level. So in our case, the chart of account ID is double two double six for which we want to create it. Click on the enter button and here you can just see we have the chart of account. In this we have the transaction called BIL. BIL means balance carry forward. Balance carried forward. So balance we are moving from our current year to next year. And for which type of account? For the profit and loss account. So for the profit and loss account selection, we use X in the system. And then here we need to give the number, retain account GL number we need to mention here. So randomly, I'm just mentioning the number as 19999. So we have not created it. And for this, we'll also get a warning message that this GL doesn't exist in the system. So we can just ignore this message by pressing the enter button and then save it. Save it. So with this, system will just allow us to create the GL, and this GL we can create it later. Okay? It is not mandatory that you need to create the GL right now. So with this, what we can do, at least we will be able to create the GL, we will be able to do the posting. So when we are going to close the books, so at that point of time, we can move the balance from the retain from our P&L account to retain a new account. So these are the activities we have performed under the step number 4, which is related to the chart of accounts. So now I'm going to stop